Hello, YouTube! My name is rhianaB. Welcome back to another episode of my RuPaul Drag Race review. Again, I apologize for this review being late. I've been working a lot. I've also been having a lot of back pain, so that's been messing up with my YouTube schedule. But I'm here now, decked out in my space sci-fi makeup and hair and jacket. So let's go on and delve into this week's episode. So the aftermath of Yua's departure, we had Monique feeling attacked by Mayhem because of what Mayhem had brought up on the runway when Monique wasn't there. And kind of it sets up this Mayhem versus Monique type of fight that we really don't see in the rest of this episode, but we may see it in future episodes. We'll have to wait and see on that. And then Mayhem, of course, bringing up the personality things again, which, as I said last review, if you're a drag queen, you yourself have a big personality and you are surrounded by big personalities, especially Mayhem since she comes from the LA scene. So I don't really like hearing that she's complaining about personalities and being overshadowed by them because, girl, you yourself have a big personality because you're a freaking drag queen. Next was the mini challenge, which was a photo bomb photo shoot, and Aquaria ends up being the winner, and then we move on straight to the maxi challenge, and it is the last ball on Earth. First look is going to be Alaskan Winter Realness, which is going to be the summer theme because they're like switching like a 180 on the seasons because of global warming. Number 2 is Miami Summer Realness, and that's going to be the winter theme. And then finally we end with Martian Eleganza Extravaganza. Basically a look that you have to put together using different materials. Basically create your own look that will represent either space, sci-fi, living on Mars, you know, how to celebrate your last day on Earth. There was a little bit of a fight over this quilted red patent leather that Asia really wanted because she had a great idea for it, but then Monet grabs it and Asia is not happy that Monet is basically just cutting up the leather without really doing anything or measuring it out, just kind of seeing if it works. And that really annoys Asia because I guess in a way, Asia is she is a costume designer. We have established that she is a costume designer. I actually did forget about that. So she could have done something great with that fabric. And there was also a little funny moment with Monet basically like sticking to the sponge thing because of the sponge dress. She actually has a holy sponge that she kind of like, maybe not jokingly, but mostly jokingly praised to, which I thought was funny. Asia becoming the drag seamstress of the season since Yua is now gone. Now I think that mantle's been taken up by Asia. And Asia, very much like a mother figure, goes and starts helping some of the other girls with sewing machines and stuff like that. And that does establish some foreshadowing, being that Asia is helping everybody else except for working on her look. There's Aquaria who started like cutting out these like kind of like lightning bolt patterns out of some similar fabric to Monet's. It's like a patent leather, and everyone's kind of like looking at her while she's like trying to test it out in the mirror, and they're like, what the hell is she doing? But I actually kind of liked what she was doing. I could get the theme from what little was shown. I did get the theme, so I was excited to see Aquaria's look. Another funny moment was when Monique was praying. I think she was praying for the fabric or inspiration or something, and then the queens were just kind of like going at her with her laugh, which is like, I could be doing that off too, but it was like somewhere along those lines. And the cool thing that I really loved about this was that Asia designs for color guard. And to me, that was exciting because I did color guard for 4 or 5 years, so it holds a very special place in my heart. So learning that Asia designs, well, not only color guard looks, but she designs other things as well. But the color guard thing really got me excited, especially since I remember that she is from Texas and there is a big color guard scene in Texas. I've been to competitions in Texas before, so I thought that was a really cool little touch that kind of made me like Asia a little bit more. And then Vixen, when Ru was doing deliberation, because we learned about the color guard and the design thing from Asia while Ru was doing walking around the room. She goes to Vixen next, talks about sewing and stuff like that, like her grandmother teaching her to sew on a napkin. Also talking about the Chicago drag scene. Blair also talks about how she feels kind of underrated and that people don't look at her as a threat because she's so young. Being that she is 22, she's actually a year younger than I am, and she looks very, very young, so I understand that feeling of feeling like no one pays attention to you because you look so, so young. But I feel like that's kind of a cool thing, and I think she even said this too, it's like, she's kind of like the underdog. No one really suspects her as being a giant threat, but then just watch her get halfway through this competition or even get to the end. Moving on to the next day, Miss Cracker, she is questioning, while looking at everyone else in the room, if she needs to do more with her space look, because she is being very literal with the whole, space sci-fi last day on Earth type of a thing. So she wonders if it's too simplified. Miss Cracker also brings up to Aquaria, talking about rumors going around in New York City, since they're both New York girls, that Aquaria may have a sugar daddy. And then it kind of just turns into, Aquaria denies this, and then I actually think what was really sweet about Miss Cracker was that she actually turned it into, a joke. She's like, I'm filling out applications for a sugar daddy. Anybody who wants to be my sugar daddy, please let me know. It made what could have been, a stereotypical, rivalry situation, which the show has done before. She ends up turning it into, a really funny moment and makes the room a lot lighter, which I thought was really nice. One of the many reasons why I love Miss Cracker. And then we move on to a very, debated thing that happened in this episode about accents, because this all started with Monet and Eureka talking about the little quirks, or not quirks, but little things that Eureka says that are very Tennessee, very Midwest Southern, like the donkey kick, which Monet tends to do, or is it Asia? I think it was Monet or Asia, I can't exactly remember. And then this leads to them talking about Eureka's accent, and that Eureka doesn't always think she has an accent, because, she's around that accent all the time, and this is her natural speaking voice. She doesn't think of it as an accent. She thinks of it as just her speaking voice. And then this leads to a big thing started by Monet, and it leads with her saying that, in the olden days, before, the U.S. was colonized, or North America was colonized, I should say, that in the UK, they actually spoke with an American accent, like what we talk today in America, and that once we left, not we, but you know what I mean, once they all left, then they started, developing, a very British accent, very, talking like this, and making them sound very, eloquent and very, high class. That is not my best British voice, but you get the idea. And then this kind of comes between it back and forth with Monet saying that was true, and then Asia and Monique saying that wasn't true. I honestly don't know. I have never really thought of that before, but now it kind of intrigues me. I think someone did research, and there was some proof to say that it was true. Some people say it's not true. It's very one of those very divisive things. So interesting food for thought from the episode, but let's go ahead and move on to the runway and Ru's look. Wow. I mean, this is probably one of the most elaborate looks that Ru's ever done on the show. And granted, this is 10 seasons, and she's done a lot of looks. This is by far one of the ones that's stood out. I will say I kind of wish the glasses were a little bit smaller, so they covered up just mostly her eyes instead of most of her face. I get it's very Club Kid, and I love Club Kid fashion, don't get me wrong. But I did feel like it was covering her eyes a little too much. I wish I could have seen her eyes. But I thought it was a cool concept. There are a little bit of execution stuff, but I did like the concept at the end of the day. Okay guys, we've got a lot of looks to go through to go over my runway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each girl and I'm going to combine their looks, and I'm going to quickly go through them, what I liked, what I didn't like, you get the idea, and then give them a thumbs up or a boot. First off, we have Mayhem Miller. I did give her Alaskan Realness, middle of the road. I gave her Miami look a top, and then I also gave her Martian look a top. I really loved her Martian look. That was probably my favorite look out of all the three that she did. I did like the winter look, but I did like other ones better. I think her Martian look was so different compared to some of the other girls. I like that she went with gold and red, and the red contacts, which she's very, very famous for her colored contacts. I just really loved the Martian look, and I did like the winter look. I kind of wish she had done a little bit more with the Alaskan Realness look, but overall, I thought Mayhem did very well. Next is Eureka O'Hara. Hated her Alaskan Realness. I've been watching a couple of other reviews on YouTube and stuff like that. Everyone seems to either like it or they think it's okay. No. What part of this look is beach? I look at this, I see lingerie. That robe is so lingerie, ready for the bedroom. I guess the bodysuit could be considered a swimsuit, but that robe and that hair, I'm sorry, that is not beach. That is total just bedroom, totally off the brand. Gave that a hard boot. But other than that, I did like her other looks. They weren't my favorites, like they were okay. I think her best look was definitely her Miami realness. I did like the fact that she was like in like a leotard, but yet she was still had like white fur, and I loved the boots. The hair was nice. Her Martian look. I did like the hat, and I did like the shoulder pieces. The rest looked very, very executive realness, which if that's what she was going for, then props to you, that's what it looks like. But to me, it wasn't wow worthy enough. You just relied on the hat and the shoulders, and I wanted to see a little bit more done with the look. So I gave her Miami look and her Martian look middle of the road, and I gave her a hard boot on that first look. That was the worst of the night for me. Well, one of the worst. Next up, we have Miss Monet Exchange. First look, not good. I will admit the bodysuit looks nice. I like the color. It really does like direct you to the right places on her body. That wig, I'm sorry girl, that wig was so shake and go, so out of the bag. You didn't blend it at all to your forehead. It was so bad. I'm sorry, but that wig alone was enough for me to give it a hard boot. I actually did like her Miami realness. I really loved the crown. I thought that was really creative. When she walked out, she had that like smoke or vapor come out of her mouth. The makeup looked cool. Although the dress was a little simple, I think it did work for the look. Overall, I did like it. I gave that a high score. And then we go to her Martian look, and I'm sorry, it looked very, very craftsy. It looked very like last minute made. And if it is last minute made, that's fine, but you can't make it look like it was last minute made. It was just not good. It was starting to like fall apart a little bit in the back. It was crooked. I did like the gas mask. I think that was the only thing that saved the look. So I just did not like it. I also gave this a boot as well. Next up is Cameron Michaels, and this is the reason why I love Cameron Michaels. Her Alaskan realness. So good. I will agree there's been a couple people who didn't love the hat. If it had been a wider brim hat, because wider brim hats I usually associate with beach looks, so had she done that, I think it would have worked a little bit better. But my god, that body, she does claim to be the body queen. I did not expect this to walk onto the runway from her. So beautiful. She looked like a total housewife who would walk the beach looking for a new man. I loved it, gave that a high score. And then her Miami realness, I really loved that. I did have a slight issue with the makeup because it did look like she kind of had a blue beard on and didn't do that much with her face. But she is such like an artist when it comes to her makeup and to her outfits. I mean, because last week with the feather look, by far probably one of the best looks that's ever gonna happen on this season. And then she comes out with this just full white fur coat. That bodysuit was incredible. The detailing on the face, so good. Gave that a high runway as well. And then we get to the Martian look. Not my favorite, but it wasn't bad. I did like when she used the sunglasses like on the top of her outfit. I love the headpiece, and her character with the phone was really cute. Did anyone else think that this kind of looks similar to Roxy Andrews' Future of Drag look from All Stars 2? Because they look a little bit similar, and I don't think that was intentional, but it did remind me of that. So I did give her Martian look middle of the road, but her first two looks were absolutely amazing. Next is the Vixen, and this is going to be very hard for me to say this, but I actually did like her first runway look. I actually did like it, and believe me, people, if any of you have been watching my reviews this season, you know I do not like the Vixen. I have very strong opinions about Vixen, but I will give credit where credit is due. I did like her first look. The hair was nice. I like the idea of it being clear. I thought it showed off her body. I loved that fan. I did hear critiques from other people that it's just a lot of boy body. I do kind of agree with that, but she does have a body she could work with that, so it doesn't bother me so much. So I did give this a high runway. But then after that, it went downhill. Her Miami realness, I did not get like winter theme really at all. I just got like colonial Christmas party. And you could say that that's technically winter, but I didn't get it. The only thing that like made it like wintry were the antlers and the fan, and when she was like blowing the snow out of her hand. That was the only thing about it that like that I saw as being winter. So it was not good. I just felt like it was kind of sloppy. I did give this middle of the road because the concept was there almost, but it wasn't fully there. And then we get to her Martian look, and this was just a hot mess. She literally glued everything but the kitchen sink onto her look. I don't get like just the random paste of the whatever they are. I don't even know what they are, but on her boobs. The fabric looked cheap. It looked so like 80s sci-fi, which I did not really like that much. The leggings killed me. I did not like that hair. I wish it were like a little bit shorter. If it were like above her shoulder, I think it would have worked a little bit better. So yeah, I did not like this look at all, so I gave that a boot. Next up, we have Aquaria, and this was fantastic. Every single look Aquaria did tonight was absolutely fantastic. The first look, although, yes, you can argue that it's not technically, beach, or it's not technically summer, I still think it was creative. I thought it was absolutely adorable. She sold it. It looked so cool. It looked like Mucha Lucha, if any of you remember that cartoon. So I gave that a high runway. My favorite look of the entire night was actually Aquaria's Miami realness look. This was so cute. I want this outfit. It's just so Lisa Frank going to Studio 54. I love the look. She looks just absolutely adorable. I want this outfit so bad. So this was my favorite look of the night by far. This was definitely a high. And then we end on a perfect note with her Martian look. And it was just such a different take on sci-fi. It wasn't stereotypical. It was just very Aquaria. It was very new, something that we probably didn't expect. Thought it was so cool looking. And she was partially naked. That is the truth. But I thought she sold it very, very well. The outfit was just so well done. I loved the eye pieces. So all in all, Aquaria was the best of the week so far. Next up, we have Miss Dusty Ray Bottoms. And the first look, I didn't hate the look. I got the concept, I understood it, but I will agree that the top and the bottoms, they looked too, like, off the rack, something you can get at, like, Charlotte Russe or Forever 21. And then the hat was just way too bedazzled and extravagant for the top and the bottom. That was my issue with the look. I did get the concept, though, so I didn't hate it. I did give it middle of the road. Then her, Miami look, this was, I think, was her best look of the night. I love the idea that she went with like a, the White Witch from Narnia, the light, although you couldn't really see it on the runway because of all the stage lights. I loved the light up hair. You could see it a little bit. I liked the fact that the dress was kind of see-through. And I thought and the frozen heart in her hand, I really liked that detail. I did give that a high runway, but sadly, it was very hit or miss with me with her Martian look. I love the glasses. I understand the intricacy of the work she did. She was literally wearing like a metal mesh corset on, and I liked the skirt. It did make her look like a little bit like fairy-like. I did not like the hair. I kind of wish she'd done a similar color to what she was wearing instead of doing the super harsh black. It didn't mesh well with me. And I do agree that it really doesn't scream end of the world unless you're going to like the end of the world party. Then maybe that would have made sense. I didn't hate it as much as the judges did, but I will give it middle of the road. Next is Miss Monique Hart. And her first look, I was indifferent about it. I did think the idea was cute. I really did wish that she could have like edited the suit a little bit more. And I wish that her dreads, or her cornrows, I should say, that those should be a little bit shorter, not super long, because I just felt like it made her body really heavy, especially when she has really big boobs, and the suit is just kind of not constructed to the best of her ability, because she is a sewer. I did expect a lot from her in this regard. I did give it middle of the road. I did think it was okay. I just wish she had fine-tuned a couple of details. Then we move on to Miami Realness, and this look I actually did like. I will agree that maybe it could have been tailored a little bit more to her body, but I totally got like a Beyonce. I did get, there was like maybe a winter look in New York for I'm saying a lot of Studio 54, I feel like Raja. Like winter Studio 54 look, I thought it was very like 70s chic. I did like it. I did give this a high runway. And then we got to her Martian look. The only thing I wish she had done, she had a really killer jacket on. I'd wish that she had kept it on longer. She had this really cool jacket that was like I forgot what they're called, but they're like those silver metallic foil looking tubes. I forget what they're called, but she used those for sleeves, and she had a white main part of the coat. If she had kept that on longer, I would have loved this look a lot more. It is a good dress, and I like the part where she kind of hid the rest of the skirt like in her puss and then released it. I did like that effect. I just felt like it didn't scream Martian to me. I wish she had done a little bit more with the dress, or she had kept on that jacket a little bit longer, and I think that would have really helped. I did give it middle of the road because I did get the concept. I just wish, again, she needs to work on her editing details a little bit. Next up, we have Miss Blair St. Clair. Her first look, Alaskan Realness, loved. Total vintage vintage Barbie, going to a beach, very chic. I love the hair, I love the suit, and she's always just serving fish. She's so good at serving fish. Gave that a high runway. Her second look for Miami Realness, I gave it middle of the road only because it was just a coat. It was just a fur coat that you could have bought at anywhere. I just didn't, I mean, it's okay, but it just did not wow me in the way I would want her to wow me. So I gave that middle of the road. And then finally, what I thought was her best look was her Martian eleganza. Loved the idea that she was going for like a 50s Judy Jetson sci-fi look instead of just thinking about straight futuristic. I loved that she made this dress and it's so tailored to her body. She knows how to make clothes for herself. I loved the jacket. The hair worked really well. Overall, I loved the look. Gave this a high runway as well. Next up is Miss Asia O'Hara, who had to live up to a lot since last week's runway was very, very well done. Her Alaskan Realness, I thought it was cute. I like the fact that she did like a semi, since she's a black girl, that she did like a nude bathing suit. That she did a nude bathing suit and then add the accents with the little fuzzy balls. And I love the little fascinator in the hair. Her face is always beat. I did like this look, but it wasn't super wow worthy. I did like it though, so I will give it a high runway. Then her Miami Realness, I just had an issue with the color. I understand she was going for like very big, bold, kind of like a Nicki Minaj sort of a thing. I just thought it was too much of a, it was just too discombobulating for me. It was like, it's neon pink and yellow leopard, it's a neon pink, green and yellow fur coat, plus the glasses, plus the shoes. I just thought it was way, way too much. If she had kept the coat and maybe had done something a little bit simpler underneath, I would have probably liked it a little bit more. But the fact it was just so much, I had to give it a boot. And then finally, with her Martian look, there's parts of it I like and parts of it that I don't like. I love the little hat she made. I love the glasses. The idea of like the red, like protruding out top layer, and then there's like an underskirt underneath it. Again, if it had been tailored a little bit more, those details would have been a little bit more fine-tuned. I would have liked this a lot more, but I am going to give it middle of the road because it's only halfway there. And then finally, we end with Miss Cracker and her Alaskan Realness. This was really, really cute. I did like this a lot. I for a second, took me a while to realize that the grass skirt was actually hair. It wasn't like fake grass. It was actually green wigs, and that her bra and her panties, they were actually made out of hair. Because at the beginning I thought, oh, it just looks like rope. No, this is actually made out of hair. I will agree maybe the hair could have been a little bit shorter, but I did think that the blonde kind of like made it like very Pamela Anderson, very beach ready. So I did like that. High runway for look number 1. Then her Miami realness, this was probably my favorite look she did of the night. It's so like winter soldier Barbie look. I love the goggles, I love the detail on the chest, the head wrap, the makeup, the white wig. I just loved this look all in all. This was high runway. And then finally we end with her Martian look, the one that she was debating on if she wanted to embellish a little bit more. I'm glad she didn't, because it really looked spacey. It was perfectly like campy, very cracker style. I love that she did like the same tubing that Monique used on her jacket. I love that she just did that as like a jetpack sort of a thing. The headpiece was fantastic. I loved her fake eyebrows. All in all, love the look. High runway. So the only ones I thought who did well throughout every single category was Cracker and Aquaria. Okay, so our safe queens were Mayhem, Vixen, Monique, Blair, and Eureka. Our tops were Cameron, Aquaria, and Cracker, and our bottoms were Monet, Dusty, and Asia. I do agree with the tops. I did think that Cameron, Aquaria, and Cracker did have the best looks. I would have honestly put Blair up there, but I did think that her second look kind of brought it down because it looked so pedestrian. I do agree with the tops, and I ultimately do understand why the bottoms were who they were. While talking on the runway, Asia's sewing ability comes into play when it was revealed that she was actually helping with every single person in the workroom, and they said maybe that's the reason why the look didn't look super put together, because she was so busy focusing on everyone else. And then of course Ru saying you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can save your child. So I do agree. I think Asia, you can be helpful, like you can do a Bianca Del Rio and like help out girls, but just don't do it all the time, and don't let it mess up your looks for the runway, because you are here for a competition. You're here to compete. You know, it's fine and good if you want to be a mother figure and help the other girls, but you've got to make sure that you're in it to win it, because there's some girls that can take advantage of your help, and they can, you know, trample all over you, which is kind of sort of what happened tonight. So our winner for the week, although it was very, very close between Cracker and Aquaria, Aquaria ends up winning. I'm very happy with Aquaria winning. I thought all of her looks were fantastic, especially that second look, which I loved. Still want that look, Aquaria. And I do agree that she deserved the win. I was very happy for her. And then our bottom two ends up being Monet and Dusty. It's honestly a very interesting week for New York. We have our winner from New York, and then we have two of the New York girls in the bottom, plus we had a New York queen leave last week. So a lot of craziness for New York. So let's go ahead and check out the lip sync between Monet and Dusty. Our first NY versus NY lip sync. Let's get it. Interesting. I feel like Dusty's gonna play quirky. Yeah, I knew that was coming. There was no way she can do much in that outfit. Dusty's getting that lip sync on though. Oh, never mind. I take that back. Oh. Oh. Okay, Monet, I'm sorry, Dusty. I love you, Dusty, but Monet won with that. She won with that. Yes! Oh my God! There she goes! Yes! Woo!
Ladies watching from the back, that is what we call a lip sync for your life.
Yes, it was. Oh, this is gonna be...
Now, I've made my decision.
Monet has to have it. Or save them both.
Monet exchange? Shantae, you stay.
Yeah.
And you join the other girls.
I like Dusty though.
Dusty Ray Bottoms. Oh, I love you all. Thank you.
We love you, Dusty. We love you. So sadly, yes, Dusty ends up going home. It was very, very close, I will say. I just felt like the song did not really match with Dusty's style. So I think that's what kind of hindered her in the end. Especially since we had that really sad backstory with Dusty last week. It was kind of sad to already see her go, but I'm very, very happy with what she had brought into the show. I thought she was a really great queen. She really did surprise me. I learned to really like her, so I was sad to see her go, but we'll definitely be seeing a lot more of Dusty. Moving on to next week, we have kind of another acting challenge, and similar to a challenge from season 6 with Ru's talk show. This is the Bossy Rossi talk show, which is an acting challenge. They're probably going to be in groups of 2, which will be interesting to see who gets paired. And this could either really hinder the girls or can actually elevate their abilities, so we'll have to wait and see on that. The show is basically going to be in the style of maybe like a Jerry Springer or a Maury type of, I'm not even sure I'm saying that right, but a Maury type of a show, very like, very spectacle-ish, fights, arguments, that type of a thing. So this will be interesting to have a little drag queen spin on it. And obviously, we are going to have more drama. I don't really remember who it was who got pinned against each other, but it'll be interesting to see what the drama will escalate next week. Speaking of drama, I really quickly want to talk about Untucked. And I usually don't talk about Untucked because it just adds more to my videos, but I have to say, I'm getting very, very sick and tired of the Vixen. I hate the fact that, first things first, whenever she gets called negative, she gets very, very defensive. And whenever she just feels like she has to pick a fight with everyone. Girl, I understand that you were a girl who is very confrontational. That's just your personality. That does not mean you have to pick a fight with every single damn girl who you do not agree with. I'm getting sick and tired of her just picking fights with people, not letting them talk. She always interrupts when anyone who she's fighting with is talking, because that's what happened with Aquaria, that's what happened with this Untucked, with Eureka, and I just cannot believe that this is a girl that these people are tolerating. I just cannot stand the Vixen. Again, I've said this last time, if you like the Vixen, then you like the Vixen. This is my opinion, and I personally just do not like her for her attitude. And even her drag is not even like elevating to the point that I would want her to elevate to. It's not sticking out to me because all I see is her attitude. I'm comparing her to Fifi O'Hara, which is not an easy girl to compare yourself with as far as like a mean girl aesthetic is coming to. But at least with Fifi, I liked her aesthetic. She is talented. I see it, and I actually do like the talent. Although her attitude, it wasn't great on the show, I understand like her drag aesthetic and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I think the Vixen is worse than Fifi. And that is a big statement to make, I know, but that's how I feel. I either want an explanation as to why the Vixen is the way she is, or I just want her to go home because I'm getting sick and tired of the constant fights and her bad attitude. She needs to either just calm down, focus on herself in the competition, not what anyone else thinks about her, or, you know what, she should just go home. That's my whole prerogative on that. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And on that note, I'm going to end the video right here. So if you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. What did you think of this week's episode? And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today. And until the next video, bye! Mwah.